Thanks very much indeed, Dan. Welcome to the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium. It's a Friday evening in West London, and that normally makes Queen's Park Rangers fans shudder a little. 24 Friday night fixtures here, and they've only won 2 of them. One against Aston Villa back in 2018 when Steve McLaren was in charge. Mark Warburton has had success since coming here on a Friday evening. That was against Coventry last season. He's won 1 out of 7 Friday night fixtures, and the late equaliser for Nottingham Forest here kind of symbolises the problems that QPR have had in these pre-weekend fixtures. Players come out of the tunnel beneath us here at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium, led by referee Mark Donoghue. QPR in their blue and white hoops, Luton in their first choice colours as well as the tangerine shirts, black shorts and tangerine socks. And both these teams showing just how tight it is in the race for a place in the Premier League. QPR start the evening 6th. Luton Town are 11th, but such is the closeness that Luton would go above QPR if they were to take all 3 points tonight back to Hertfordshire. Let's run you through the team news that we brought you an hour before kick-off here on TalkSport 2. Both sides make 3 changes from the last teams they picked before the international break. There's no Lyndon Dykes for QPR this evening. He did play against Blackpool, but a combination of illness and injury means he's not even in the squad for Mark Warburton this evening. His place goes to Charlie Austin. Stefan Johansson is back to skipper the side in midfield, and there's a welcome return for Lee Wallace at left wing back. He's been out since August with a hamstring problem. Senny Dieng then is the QPR keeper. 3 defenders, centre-halves Rob Dickey, Jimmy Dunn and Johan Barbe. Albert Adoma, Stefan Johansson, Andre Dozel and Lee Wallace then at the midfield 4, with Ilias Chair and Chris Willett pushing further forward in assistance to Charlie Austin. For Luton Town there, 3 changes, sees returns for Tom Lockyer, Henry Lansbury and Fred Onyedinma. Amari Bell, Gabby Osho and Reece Burke miss out. Burke not in the squad at all. Osho and Bell drop to the bench. Simon Sluga is the Hatters goalkeeper. They have 3 at the back as well in Tom Lockyer, Cal Naismith and Sonny Bradley. James Bree and Fred Onyedinma would appear to be wing-backs tonight. Alan Campbell, Henry Lansbury and Pele Rodikampanzu will be the 3 players in central midfield. Harry Cornick and Elijah Adebayo are the front 2 preferred by Nathan Jones. Once again, after the 1-0 defeat to Stoke at Kenilworth Road just before the international break. And players take the knee on the QPR side, whilst the Luton players stand around the centre circle in their show of unity in support of the fight against racial injustice. And we are ready for the off to kick off your footballing weekend across the TalkSport network. No better place to be to get your football fix. And for this first half, Luton have got the honour and will head for the loft end away to our left-hand side as David Connolly, myself and Dan Windle sit at the back of the South Africa Road, the main stand here at Loftus Road, with the school end away to our right-hand side. And we're underway with Luton Town sending the ball early forward, looking for Elijah Adebayo. And then there's a foul given for a roughhouse challenge from Pele Rodikampanzu, which gives QPR a free kick inside their own half. And it's a good evening to David Connolly. What have you spotted?
Well, I don't know, I think just a little bit of contact there from Adebayo. Obviously Luton looking long for Adebayo. He's going to be a handful. That front unit for Luton tonight, that's for sure, for QPR.
I certainly mentioned before the game about the aerial route being a favoured one for Luton Town. We'll see how that pans out as this game develops. So a free kick inside the first minute to QPR, inside their own defensive third. Senny Dieng, the keeper, will strike it right-footed down the inside left channel, looking for Willett to flick it on. But Luton get a piece of it, gets the ball up to halfway, and Adebayo's away down the inside right channel, bursting into the box, angles tight, tries to go inside his man, drops at the edge of the box, and there were just enough players back. Jimmy Dunn, I think, got the vital foot in, and Chair will bring the ball away for QPR, but Luton look dangerous down there inside right channel there, David.
Yeah, absolutely, if they don't win the first one there, but they picked up the second ball.
QPR coming forward with Wallace, but he sees his attempted run inside intercepted. Ball's clipped up by Henry Lansbury, but it deflects to a QPR player on halfway, and it's a real harum-scarum start here.
Well, it is, and Adebayo's just positioned himself. I mean, we saw Brennan Johnson do this for Forest, position himself over on that left hand, QPR's left, where Barbe is just leaning towards that side rather than Rob Dickey's side. I know Cornick likes to operate down this side, but nonetheless he's had a lot of joy early on in those gaps into the channels.
Ball drift out of play for a QPR throw on the far side of the field from us. In the Ellerslie Road stand, Wallace takes the throw quickly. Ball's touched in field, but Luton have it back. Anywhere will do from Sonny Bradley. Doesn't reach the halfway line, and QPR have it back in these early stages. Austin goes into the box. He's the only player for QPR in the penalty area. There's Ilias Chair pictured up, always scheming around the opposition penalty area, looking to make an angle for a cross or a pass. He's played a little 1-2 with Wallace, then whips the ball in early. It's half cleared on the volley by Sonny Bradley and goes out of play again on the far side for a throw to Queen's Park Rangers. 2 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, and you're right, there was only really Charlie Austin in there.
Oh, given away by Jimmy Dunn. Adebayo to go around the keeper. Brilliant stop by Dieng, and the follow-up is blocked as well. It was Harry Cornick running in, couldn't connect the way he wanted, and again QPR undone by Elijah Adebayo defensively in the first 3 minutes, but again he couldn't profit. 0-0.
They should have scored. I mean, they take a throw, Barbe with an awful throw back to Jimmy Dunn. He takes too long. Adebayo races away. He's 1v1 with the goalkeeper. I think he could have slotted it past Dieng there. Tries to go around him. Dieng gets a little hand to it, comes back to Cornick. He tries the first time finish. I think it might be Rob Dickey in the end with the deflection out.
So it's a long throw into the QPR box from the Luton right, but it's brought away by Ilias Chair. Real frantic start here on TalkSport 2 at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium, but it is still goalless. Chair has got to about the midway point of the Luton half, passes infield to Johansson. Now it's picked up by Chris Willock, looking for Albert Adoma, his first touch of the night on this near side of QPR right, fakes the cross and then tries to work the ball in field, picked up by Pelly Rodakampantu, and he hits it long again, looking for Adebayo, who's on the charge, and he's taken Jimmy Dunn with him. Adebayo holding the ball up down by the corner flag on this near side, but he ends up taking the ball out of play, and it's a throw to QPR. 0-0.
Well, again, look, they've taken the throw really quickly, QPR, gone sideways in their own box, so it's like they haven't really learned from the opening period here. And I go back to the Coventry game I saw QPR here. Gyökeres was such a... He gave that QPR back line and the likes of Rob did a real torrid time. It looks like Adebayo is going to prove similar tonight.
Johansson and Dazelle just combining on the halfway line, keeping the ball away from Henry Lansbury, and the ball's back in the QPR half of the field. 5 points from their last 9. QPR in 6th place going into tonight's match, holding on to that final playoff spot. Ball played in field to Andre Dazelle, son of Jason, of course, once of Ipswich Town. Johansson, his hair in a headband, his hair's got a lot longer since the last time I saw him. Here's Dazelle again, drifting into the Luton Town half to the inside right channel. Sends it back to Johansson, gets his head up and plays a ball across square from right to left to pick out Ilias Chair. Chair getting to about 30 yards out, gets it onto his right and fires it just over the bar. Did it take a deflection? No, says the referee. It's a goal kick, fiercely struck by Ilias Chair. Goalkeeper Sluga at full stretch, but it's over the top for a goal kick to Luton. 0-0.
Yeah, it's almost as if Luton knew that he was going to come inside onto his right foot, but they just couldn't quite get up to the ball quick enough, and in the end he got a shot off, reminiscent of his Blackpool goal there. But Simon Sluga got a fingertip to that. That was a superb save. I think it was just dropping under the bar.
Yeah, no corner given though by referee Donoghue, and so Sluga instead has a goal kick to send downfield.
I mean, look, Blackburn was the game here where he cut in field and bent one brilliantly into the top corner chair, and it was almost a carbon copy.
QPR 0, Luton Town 0. You with TalkSport 2, Friday night under the lights at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium. Slightly brighter lights than they have been of late. They've had a problem with the floodlights at this ground not being strong enough. Certain officials have complained about the lack of strength to these lights, but they don't look too bad tonight. There's certainly improvement on when I was here for the League Cup tie against Sunderland. Here's Cornick for Luton, laying the ball off to Alan Campbell, looking to thread the ball through to Adebayo, but it was an important touch from Barbe to stop Campbell getting all the way through. But Campbell's found Adebayo on the right-hand side, and it's been forced out of play for a Luton throw. 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, they've started well, Luton, front foot, picking up the second balls, and they've been really bright. As far as Rangers, I know they're the home team, but I'll just settle down a little bit. Even on their throws, just make sure we're set up. If you could, make sure you're set up to get out of this situation, because they're such a high energy team, Luton, and they're onto you. If there's any misplaced pass or throw or whatever it is, they're onto it. So just see this out for the minute.
Another long throw going to come into the QPR box from the far side, the right hand side. Harry Cornick is the Luton long throw specialist, it would appear. Now he sends it short as soon as I said that to Campbell. Campbell has it level with the edge of the area, flips a decent ball in. Bradley goes up for a header. It was half cleared away by Dickey. Comes out to this near side, the Luton Town left, and forced back was Onyedinma, and he's actually got himself a free kick, being caught right on this near touchline down beneath our commentary position. 0-0.
Yeah, he did well in the end, didn't he? Onyedinma, he didn't really have anything on, was forced back towards his own goal. Nice little turn to get away from Adoma. They've won a set piece, and obviously look, this Luton team, they're big, that back unit. All right, so Sonny Bradley will be the one they'll be aiming for.
Adebayo, of course, an obvious target at 6'5" at least. James Bree is standing over the free kick. It may well be a right-footed delivery from the former Barnsley and Villa man to try and get in between centre-halves and goalkeeper. He drills it into the box, and that's a comfortable catch for Seny Dieng. 0-0, and he will try and clear downfield. He just had to wriggle away from Adebayo, did Dieng, before he cleared it downfield, but a comfortable header down from Bree. And now Onyedinma spins on halfway to get away from Johansson, plays the ball into the feet of Adebayo, who's looking a real handful early stages for Luton. Campbell just has his run halted, but flicks a neat ball in field to James Bree. Bree now's got a runner making strides down the right hand side. Can he find him? It's Tom Lockyer with a ball that clips the top of the crossbar and goes out of play on this near side for a throw in the end. In fact, it's been given as a save, is it? It's a throw to Luton. They've taken it quickly, and they've won a corner at the loft end. It's all action here, but it's still goalless.
It is. I mean, great start here from Luton on the front foot. Brilliant ball into the box. Actually, it looked like, again, like it was just dropping under the bar. Dieng took no chances, flicked it away from the throw, but again, on the front foot, Luton taking it early. They've been sharp all over the pitch, and they've got a little bit more physicality, haven't they, in the middle as well. Strong, powerful.
8 minutes gone, 0-0 on TalkSport 2, but Luton have their first corner of the game at the loft end away to our left. There's a clutch of players towards the rear of the 6-yard box. It's fired in by Bree, headed back across the face of goal, but Chair is the man who's first to it for QPR, and it's it long downfield, asking Willett to give chase. Willett will get there, puts it over the keeper, and QPR lead from defence into attack in a matter of seconds. Ball over the top from Chair. Chris Willett sensed that Sluga was coming off his line, and what an adept lob over the top of the Luton keeper and into the net. And after all the pressure that Luton have been applying, it's the home side who hit the front. QPR 1, Luton Town 0.
Well, it's well finished from Willock, you've got to say that, but I think Sluga just makes his mind up here. He comes racing out of his goal, almost to the edge of it, to the edge of the penalty area, and that just makes Willock's mind up. He knows, right, there's a lot of space in behind. I've just got to get under this ball, lift it up with my instep, and I've got an open goal. And that's exactly what he does. Lifts it in between the goalkeeper's hands, who's they're flapping, and really he's just got to stay home. Let the centre half deal with that. He's almost running away from goal to the corner of the box. There's no need for Sluga to come out there. He's made Willock's mind up, and in the end he's been punished.
They've scored in every championship game so far this season, and they keep that record going tonight, and they lead to QPR on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. And after what was a really high tempo start from both teams, Luton, who should have scored, find themselves behind. Here's Onyedinma, they're going to take on Adoma. Lovely, skips past his man, early cross into the box, put behind by Rob Dickey for a corner. You mentioned that Onyedinma battle with Adoma.
Yeah.
Well, Onyedinma won that particular one.
Yeah, I mean, look, Albert, he wouldn't be there for his defensive ability, so it's up to Fred whether he can get past him. But let's see if Luton get this set piece right, because the last one was drilled to the back post. Sonny Bradley did the right thing. He tried to head it back where it came from, almost to the penalty spot, but Luton had nobody there. Let's hope they secure that here, keep the ball alive. It does drop there.
Bree again will have the corner where the South Africa road stand meets the loft end. Again, it's deep to the far post. Again, the heads go up, but it drifts beyond everybody. Bradley goes out to the far side to retrieve the ball. In fact, he'll let the ball go out because he knows it's a Luton throw, but Cornick says leave it, I want to take a long one. 1-0 to QPR on TalkSport 2. We played 11.5 minutes of breathless football at the Kiyan Prince.
And obviously you got to credit Mark. We'll come back to this in a minute, but Mark Warburton, where he positions Willock on these set pieces.
Cornick, long throw into the QPR box. It's half cleared away, and then Chair is caught as he got the ball further clear, and there's a bit of afters between a couple of players. Rob Dickey complaining to the referee about the challenge on Ilias Chair as he cleared the ball, and referee Donoghue trying to send people away so we can have a word with Elijah Adebayo. It's a free kick to QPR, and Chair is now protesting to the assistant, saying, why didn't you flag for anything? 1-0 QPR.
Yeah, and just going back to the goal, I mean, every sort of, if they get a throw in Luton, whether it's in around a penalty box or a set piece of corner, Willock's the one that is left up there. And we were talking with Dan, weren't we, before the game, about maybe the pace in QPR's team. It's going to come from, if it's through the middle, the likes of Chair, maybe Willock. But he brings Chair back, he brings Austin back, and the one he leaves up that he trusts, who's got the pace to get on those cleared balls or the composure to go and finish, is Willock, and he's done his job there. Played in the last man. He was in again there if they'd have played on rather than bringing it back by the referee.
Yeah. It's his 4th goal of the season, incidentally, Chris Willock. And that's 2 in 2 as well, because he scored the opener at Blackpool in that 1-1 draw before the international break. So it is a free kick to QPR inside their own penalty area for that foul on Ilias Chair. 13 minutes gone.
That was a good goal. That was a good goal as well, that Blackpool one.
Yeah, it was. He's following in his brother's footsteps, all the goals he was getting for Newcastle toward the end of last season when he was on that extraordinary run before he signed permanently for the Magpies. Incidentally, if you've not heard that breaking news tonight, Newcastle are playing Brentford tomorrow, but their manager Eddie Howe will not be in attendance. He's tested positive for COVID-19, so Jason Tindall and Graham Jones will take charge of the team in Howe's absence. 1-0 to QPR here on TalkSport 2 with 13.5 gone, but Luton coming forward again with James Bree. Diagonal ball into the box. Adebayo heads the ball up in the air. Cornick trying to get a piece of it. Adebayo's there again, but there's an offside flag up against the Luton player, and QPR have a free kick. But Adebayo should have scored, and he's been a handful all night.
He has, and I think, you know, if you're Lee Wallace, you've got to get out to James Bree and close that ball down just to stop it coming in the box, because, you know, he looks like he's going to get the first contact on stuff, and then it's just keeping things alive for Luton.
Luton's goal scoring is a problem. The only goals in their last 7 halves of football came in a 5-minute mad spell at Middlesbrough in their most recent win. So the goal problems that plagued the first few minutes here, kind of symptomatic of what's been going on for Graham Jones's men of late, which is why they've slipped down to 11th in the table. Now the ball's clipped forward, looking for Charlie Austin to chest it down. He's chested it down to Willock, the goal scorer. He now leaves it for Johansson, picked up by Dazelle. Out to the left-hand side, and Ilias Chair. Wallace is stationed on the touchline just ahead if he wants to use him, but he's gone back to halfway, and QPR playing their neat 1 and 2 touch football. Chair finds Wallace on the left-hand side. Back for Stefan Johansson. It's neatly done by the home side. Then across into the box looking for Adoma, who pushed him for the right-hand side, but the ball sails over his head and out for a Luton Town goal kick. 1-0 QPR. Here's David Connolly.
Well, it's not too often you see two lovely left-footed players in the middle of the park playing centre midfield, and that's what QPR we got. Dazelle and obviously Johansson side by side there, holding the midfield, but both very much, you'd say, players with left foots that are, you know, creative, cultured.
Henry Lansby got a yellow card for that challenge on Ilias Chair a couple of moments ago, the first booking of the evening. 1-0 to QPR, TalkSport 2. And here's Charlie Austin trying to make a nuisance of himself down the left-hand side of the Luton box. Tries to work the ball back into midfield for Johansson, but that was well intercepted for Luton by Lansbury. But Adebayo is muscled out of it by Dazelle. As Wallace pushing in field for Queen's Park Rangers, urged to shoot, does shoot, and he's just wide. Just back in the side, Lee Wallace, and tried his luck from 25 yards, but I think it was always going wide at the school end. Goal kick to Luton, 1-0 QPR.
Yeah, not a bad effort, just trying to bend it into that far. It's always hard when you're in the inside sort of left channel, using your left foot with your instep. It's always going to be fading away from goal. And Charlie Austin with a little giveaway there. I'd like to see him just maybe be a bit bit braver on the ball rather than play the ball backwards. He's in the box, he's ended up passing it back towards the halfway line. You know, show a bit of confidence.
Oh, what a ball from Lansbury over the top. Cornick in the area, right-hand side. The angle's tight. Drives it at the goalkeeper, Dieng, and he saves it with his chest and gets it out of harm's way for QPR. Another chance goes begging for Luton Town.
Yeah, and that's that area we saw against Forest, down that sort of left-hand side, left channel.
Now here comes Pelly Rodakampanzu for Luton. Right-hand corner of the box. Plays a little 1-2 with Campbell. Sets it up for Lansbury at the edge of the D. Lansbury threads it through the eye of a needle. Campbell hadn't quite made the run that Lansbury expected, and Dieng was able to pounce on the ball for QPR. It's 1-0 to the home side, but Luton are asking all sorts of questions.
Yeah, I mean, Lee Wallace doesn't know whether to go out to James Bree or stay a little bit closer to Barbet. If it was me, I'd be in close to Barbet because, you know, Brennan Johnson gave Rangers loads of trouble in that sort of left channel, and it's happening again here.
Yeah, they're happy to play the ball around in their own defensive third. Dunn turns it forward to halfway. It's a lovely layoff, and then Giselle with an early ball over the top, trying to release Lee Wallace, but it was overhit really, and it just bobbled through to Simon Sluga. There's Tom Lockyer back in the side tonight, up to the halfway line. Lovely turn from Harry Cornick and speeds into the QPR half. Plays it forward to Adebayo, urged to play on by the referee. On the right-hand side of the box, wriggles through one challenge, hits the ball against Barbet, and then Dieng again jumps on top of the ball to prevent a corner kick, and another Luton half chance goes begging. 1-0 QPR.
Well, again though, that Luton front pairing are such a handful. Cornick, terrific little turn, drives diagonally across the pitch, feeds it wide. Adebayo ducks in field, and they just about got a block on that, but I think they need a couple of more numbers back. I mean, you mentioned Dazelle breaking things up. Him and Johansson, not your archetypal holding midfielders, are they? And Lee Wallace pushes really high as a wing-back stroke winger. Adoma on the other side. There's a lot of space on the turnover for Luton, a lot of space in those wide areas.
Yeah, that was the job that Jeff Cameron used to do for QPR, wasn't it? That protection of the back four, the American international. But yes, it is a different makeup to that QPR midfield. But they lead with 18 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Ian Danter and David Connolly, former Republic of Ireland striker, with you. Adoma crosses the ball into the edge of the Luton area, headed away from danger by Lockyer, but Dazelle will tidy up for QPR in the centre circle.
Right, I tell you what, Willock's tail is up. I mean, he's already showed a couple of bits of brilliance, you know, as well as the goal, obviously, but nice little turn and little flick to Adoma on the inside. I don't think he needed to cross there. I think he could have brought that ball a lot closer to goal. Went for the early ball in.
Forward come QPR. Willock playing a little 1-2 with Adoma, but it's cleared away by Onyedinma up to halfway. Barbet touches it down for Chair. Chair will just spin away for a moment from Harry Cornick, and it's back with Johan Barbet once more. Dazelle now in the centre circle. Clips the ball just to his right for Johansson. And Johansson just faced up for a moment by Lansbury, elects to roll the ball back to the halfway line. QPR been in the top 10 pretty much all season in the Championship. They were top 4 after going 6 unbeaten at the start of the campaign, and 6th tonight, and they lead. And there is a ball out from the left-hand side from Wallace, looking to the far post for Adoma. It's only half cleared. Johansson tries a snapshot at goal, but it's blocked by Lansbury. But the loose ball is picked up by Rob Dickey. Swirling cross from Dickey from the right-hand side, and that forces Lockyer to head it behind for QPR's first corner at the school end away to our right. With 20 minutes gone, QPR lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, not a bad ball in there from Dickey towards the back post.
It's a lovely cross from Rob Dickey, who couldn't stop scoring at the start of the campaign. Just dried up a little bit for the centre half.
Well, I saw him here score a great goal against Millwall.
Oh yeah, it was a cracker, wasn't it? Yeah. Fully 30 yards. Proper larruped it. Ilias Chair with this corner.
Well, look, they're piled on the goal line here.
Yeah, and the referee spotted it, referee Donahue. Pretty much everybody bar Campbell and Johansson are inside the 6-yard area, wearing either the hoops of QPR or the tangerine shirts of Luton. And it's rather crowded in there for Simon Sluga to try and make space for himself as the Luton Town goalkeeper. Chair, obviously it's a right-footed in-swinger to make it that much more difficult for the Luton keeper. In it comes from Chair, right into the crossbar. It's well-headed clear. That was really nicely done by Cal Naismith at his near post to protect his goalkeeper.
Great ball in, wasn't it, from Chair? Brilliant whip and dip, just dropping under the bar.
Now here's Adoma under pressure from Adebayo inside the QPR half.
He's a brash boy. I mean, allowing Adebayo to get that close to him, especially the way Luton have started, just don't invite that little bit of arrogance to just delay the release. You invite the likes of Adebayo and Cornick to go and win it off you.
Don't forget, we've got 3 back-to-back Premier League commentaries exclusive to TalkSport tomorrow on game day. Leicester-Chelsea kicks it all off at 12:30. Our coverage starts at 11 a.m. on TalkSport with Reshmin and the team. We've also got Villa against Brighton at 3 o'clock. Steven Gerrard's first game in charge of his new club. And Liverpool-Arsenal at 5:30. 3 big games from the top flight, back-to-back tomorrow on TalkSport. Whilst here on TalkSport 2, loads of rugby from 12:30 through till 10 p.m. Now here's Onyedinma getting inside the QPR area, tries to loft it over Dieng, but he couldn't keep it down. He was at the corner of the 6-yard box by the time he finally got the shot away, having got him behind, and he just couldn't lift it over Dieng and make it dip under the crossbar. Goal kick, 1-0 QPR.
He just got too much under it. It's a great run. We saw Adoma do this at the other end. Onyedinma as the wing back, driving on the inside. Brilliant ball from Naismith in behind, and he just tried to lift it over the goal. He put too much on it though. He needed a little bit more finesse there. Not as much pace and power on the contact.
It's another half chance for Luton though, midway point of the first half.
Well, they've had some great chances,
haven't they? Just
should have scored by now. That'll be a really frustrating thing for Nathan Jones.
It's something that you and Dan were talking about as we previewed this game when we came on air at 6 o'clock. Remember the EFL show every Friday and Monday at 6 p.m. Either a review or a preview of all the action in the Championship, League 1 and League 2. Now we have a throw-in for QPR over on the far side. Incidentally, all that rugby tomorrow. Scotland-Japan is first up at 12:30. Then England-South Africa, Wales-Australia and France against the All Blacks. All exclusive to TalkSport 2 from 12:30 through till 10 o'clock. So the best part of 10 hours of top-class rugby union exclusive to TalkSport 2 tomorrow as the autumn series reaches its conclusion. Still plenty of time left here at the Kiyan Prince. A quarter of the game has only elapsed. QPR lead by that Chris Willett goal to 0. Lofting the ball over the Luton keeper Sluga after a quick counter-attack from a Luton corner. But Luton again trying to hit a menacing ball over the top to release either Adebayo or Cornick. This time it's intercepted and Stefan Johansson has it back for the home side, but he's forced to go back to Jimmy Dunn. Jimmy Dunn being closed down by Campbell, puts the ball out of play under pressure for a Luton throw. It's 1-0 to QPR.
And that's where Johansson, there's no real need to go back to Dunn. He's in there to go and play forward. He's the ball-playing player. Don't send it back to one of your centre-halves. And just looking at Rangers, when they get the ball from a throw, you can see at times why they go back, because when they throw forward, they always lose it. They just can't seem to retain it. Not the biggest of teams, certainly in the front part of the pitch.
High press from QPR, putting pressure on Simon Sluga. What a header down from Adebayo to bring Campbell into the game as Luton come forward again. But what a challenge to win the ball back from Johan Barbe, who releases Charlie Austin down the inside left channel for Queen's Park Rangers. Willock inside the box. Austin's going to go for goal, and it flashes wide at the near post. I think that Sluga had it covered. But a half chance for Charlie Austin. Stays 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers.
Yeah, he probably should have done better here. Drifted out into this left-hand side. I mean, his first touch got away from him. He lost a bit of momentum from the attack, and he only had one real thought, really, just to try and get a shot off, and in the end dragged it a good 5-6 yards wide at the near post.
Goal kick then to Luton Town. Luton fans making plenty of noise away to one right in the school end. Adebayo wrestling for the high ball with Jimmy Dunn, but Dunn got the better of him. They're going to have another go, and Dunn again gets there first, and Ilias Chair picks the ball up in the centre circle. Chested down by Chris Willett, midway point of the Luton half, running across the line from left to right. Lovely back heel to bring Austin into the game, but just had the ball taken off his toe by Henry Lansbury. But it's poorly cleared by Luton, and QPR have it back, but now Chair runs out of ground. And Lansbury will loft the ball neatly out to the right-hand side where James Bree will scamper forward. Little ball clips infield for Campbell. Campbell faced up by Barbe. Finds Cornick, does he? Cornick rides one challenge. Can't ride the second. And he's put the ball out of play in the end. It's come off him for a throw to Queen's Park Rangers. 1-0.
He's just looked, I mean, Charlie, he's looked a little bit rusty, hasn't he, when the ball's come to him at his feet. You know, as a front man, I've been in that position, maybe not playing as regularly, and we heard him talk to Moose at the start, and, you know, sometimes your touch gets away from you and it's under you and it bobbles and it's not quite, and that's how it's gone so far for Charlie. That was a nice little move from Willock, and he actually probably should have released him to Chair. The ball just got away from Charlie.
His only league goal came against Barnsley back in August for Charlie Austin. Certainly did so well with that loan spell when he came in with 8 goals in a spell when West Bromwich Albion loaned him back here. Well, permanent deal, and he's had a couple of goals in the EFL Cup, of course, against Everton. That famous night here where they won on penalties. Now here's Cornick inside the box for Luton, looking for Campbell, who just couldn't connect as the ball landed around the penalty spot. It's picked up really well on the left-hand side for Luton by Fred Onyedinma. Early ball into the near post, and it just evades Campbell again and bounces through to Seni Dieng. And QPR can clear their lines. He's just bowled out to Johansson at the edge of the area. 1-0.
They're not really going to clear their lines, are they? They're going to play their way out. Again, though, they look such a threat, Luton.
Now Willock hitting the diagonal ball, trying to release Charlie Austin, who I think knew he was offside, so put his arm up to indicate to Willock that he appreciated the effort. But it's a throw to Luton Town on the far side. They got 62 points last year, Luton Town, which is their highest ever total since the early 80s, since the sort of glory days of David Pleat.
Yeah, but I mean, they only got 41 goals. I mean, so that's always, I think there's only 5 teams that got less and 2 of them went down. So, yeah, but he's affected that this season. They've almost doubled their goal ratio. So,
but tonight they are not doing what they should in front of goal. Certainly from what we've seen, David Connolly, in these opening 28 minutes, they've had more than enough chances to get their names on the score sheet.
Absolutely, and they do stress you. Let me tell you, that back line has been stressed tonight for QPR, putting under an awful lot of pressure.
Luton have it inside their own half with Sonny Bradley up to the halfway line. Rudicam Pansu lays it off to Lansbury, gets his head up, rolls the ball out to the left hand side for Onyedinma, into the feet of Adebayo. Not the best pass for Adebayo.
And wrong side, wasn't it? He just needed it safe side. Just invited a challenge there from Dickey.
But Lansbury has it again, just chips the ball up to Cornick, who's offside. Barbe had his arm up as soon as the ball was played from Henry Lansbury, and QPR have a free kick. Midway point of their own half, and they lead by 1-0 on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, he's just tucked in a little bit now, Lee Wallace, both wing backs, and I think, look, if you're going to concede anyway, you go, right, I'm not going to come out. If the ball goes out to Bree, as Mark Warburton, the QPR manager, was saying there, ball comes out on your dinner, right, Adama, you go in, show him. Ideally, he wants to show him down the line. Don't allow him to cut infield onto his right foot, but they're not leaving those holes on the outside of them, those wing backs, just coming in protecting those outside centre halves. It's worked the last 5 or so minutes.
Rob Dickey wins a free kick. Just a little pull on the shirt from Elijah Adebayo on halfway. And as is their want, QPR take it quickly and don't hit it long downfield. Stefan Johansson plays a little 1-2 with Dezelle on halfway and hits a diagonal into out looking for Lee Wallace. And Bree has to head it behind for a corner under pressure from Lee Wallace, who was just behind him. He feels he was being fouled by Wallace, looks at the referee, and the referee says nothing doing, corner given. Yeah, there might be a little tug there, maybe, on his shirt from James Bree, and we have seen already this delivery from Chair. I mean, it looks like Johansson's going out there as well. Well, let's see if that 6-yard box at the school end is as densely populated as it was for QPR's last corner. Actually, it isn't. They've now got a routine where they've got 5 players stood at the edge of the 18-yard line, although Dunn has now moved towards the 6-yard box. It's a different routine, this, and actually Chair's moved away, and it's going to be a left-footed outswinger from that far side by Stefan Johansson for Queen's Park Rangers, who lead by 1-0 on the half hour. Clips into the near post. Austin got there first, but it goes behind. Goal kick to Luton Town, 1-0 to the R's. I think they might have copied a little routine there from Fulham. Fulham do this one where they get Dennis Odoi to block at the near post, and it just allows their frontman Mitrovic to come in and get across. I think they did it against Nottingham Forest, if I recall. It looked almost like a carbon copy, like they might have nicked that one off Fulham. Didn't work though. No, but QPR. Well, not too many teams have Mitrovic, and that's no point taken. QPR 1, Luton Town 0. We played half an hour on TalkSport 2 at the Cayenne Prince Foundation Stadium. It's been a good game, this, and QPR lead through that effort from Chris Willock And now Charlie Austin looking to release Lee Wallace down the left-hand side. Chairs making strides into the box. The cross, though, is intercepted by Cal Naismith. And Luton clear their lines, but Adoma leaves it for Rob Dickey to take over. Tries to release Adoma down the right-hand side. Adebayo loses out to Adoma. The cross into the near post is volleyed clear. Again by Cal Naismith. But again it comes back to the blue and white hoops. Here's Willock, the goal scorer. Faced up by Lansbury, rolls it out to Adoma, right hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. Again Naismith is there to block the cross at the near post, and he's there again to receive the ball from Onyedinma, who's faced up by Willock and tried a Cruyff turn to get away from his man. Actually does well, fires it downfield, and QPR can't keep it in play. Should expect Cal Naismith to be good on the ball. He is a midfielder really, David Connolly, but in extremis he's been playing as one of these three centre-halves for Luton of late.
I mean, look, because QPR have got so many talented ball players, a lot of the times they want to drop behind the ball and receive, sit and serve, and you looked up there, Adoma put that ball in the box. There was only really Austin in there, and one or two of them has got to break their necks to try and make the box. But if you go back to Willock, he's been absolutely wonderful so far. Every time the ball comes into him, that goal was just, I'm sure the goal last week is well helped, but his confidence, his tail is really up.
Ball landed on the roof from that clearance from QPR. I'm sure one of the YTS lads will be up there with the ladders on Monday morning to go and fetch it.
They can't even clean dressing rooms these days, YTS. they won't be on a roof, let me tell you.
The game's gone.
I used to do that, you know. Kenny Brown used to go around with his little finger picking up the dust, and jeez, they don't clean boots these days. They might go up on a roof.
Let's move on. Fred Onyedinma in possession for Luton, left-hand side.
They'll be calling the EFL in, I'm telling you.
HR department, phone lines ringing. Now, Luton want a corner here because Lansbury was trying to get the better of Jimmy Dunn, but Dunn stops it going out for a corner, but it is at the expense of a Luton throw down by the corner flag at the loft end. We've got 12 to half-time in this very entertaining first half that we're bringing you on TalkSport 2 as TalkSport listeners join us. QPR 1, Luton 0, a goal from Chris Willock early in the piece after Luton had dominated the early exchanges, and from a Luton corner it was how QPR scored when Ilias Chair spotted Willock making a run. Lovely long ball downfield, and as Simon Sluga advanced out of his area, Willock lofted the ball over him and into the empty net. But Luton should be level, at least, David Connolly, based on the chances that they've been creating before and after QPR scored.
Yeah, I mean, they've had loads of chances, and credit QPR, it's probably their one chance. They've taken it. Chris Willock with a wonderful little finish, but Simon Sluga, the goalkeeper, made his mind up, came rushing out of his goal. But nonetheless, it's been a really good game, end to end, and there's goals in this because the front two for Luton have been a real handful.
Cornick in behind, right-hand side of the area for Luton, holds the ball up. There's players coming to support him. His cross is deflected away from three Luton players, and away come QPR on the counter-attack with Charlie Austin, who plays a lovely ball over halfway, trying to get Adoma in, but that's a wonderful sliding, diving challenge from Henry Lansbury to divert the ball away from Adoma, and QPR have to build at the back again with Rob Dickey and Jimmy Dunn. Full live and free commentary of this game continues over on TalkSport 2 as Luton come forward again. Cornick dispossesses his man and fires the ball against Barbe and wins a throw, but with 34 minutes gone at the Kyan Prince Foundation Stadium, it is still QPR 1, Luton Town 0. Another long throw to come for Luton Town, down by the corner flag on the right hand side as they attack the loft end in this first half. Again, it's Harry Cornick who's going to launch it into the area. Nobody there for a short option. Naismith and Bradley at the near post, but it won't reach either of them. It's actually Dazelle who heads it clear, but Luton have it back with Lansbury. Tries to thread it down the right hand side. As Cornick moved inside, the ball went outside and straight out for a throw. 1-0 QPR.
Yeah, I guess from these sort of set pieces, I mean, they've been they're undoing really for Luton so far. None of them have really worked for a side that will pride themselves on it, and certainly Nathan Jones well as a coach. The long throws, the corners, that's where one of the goals came from. They just haven't really looked like anything's going to come off them so far.
So a throw to QPR in their own left back position. Flicked on, but picked up by Tom Lockyer. His ball down the right hand side, deflects infield, but Adebayo can't quite get a piece of it. Just kept away from him by Barbe, but in steps Cal Naismith to drive forward. Ball into the air, looking at the corner, who's offside. He would have been flagged offside had he connected with it. The QPR player got there first, but the eagle-eyed assistant on the far side put his flag up straight away against the Luton number 7.
I think Cornick a couple of times now has been caught offside. He's got to try and stay on. I mean, this is close, mate. Marginally just offside. Nice little idea from Naismith in terms of looking to shoot and then just a little diagonal cut ball into the box. But I think Cornick, he's got to make sure that there's no room for error there with the assistant. Just make sure you're on. That's twice now he's been off in a short period.
Dunn sends the ball back to Dieng, who's been closed down by Cornick, but the QPR keeper puts his right boot through it and sends it downfield. Naismith heads the ball back to halfway for Luton, but it's picked up by the QPR skipper Johansson. Feeds it into the path of Johan Barbe. Fierce ball out to the left-hand side for Lee Wallace, asking a lot of Wallace, and his first touch allowed Peli Rodikampanzu to win it back, and then Wallace pulling on the shirt of Peli Rodikampanzu. Luton's fans complaining that they weren't allowed to play on, but it is a free kick to them in their own defensive third. 8 minutes to half-time on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL and your home of Autumn Nations Series Rugby, with those 4 exclusive commentaries from 12:30 onwards tomorrow, right the way through till 10 p.m. with top commentary teams at every single fixture. Here's Rodikampanzu with a diagonal ball looking for Bree on the right-hand side. He didn't quite know where the ball was, where it dropped out the sky, but he's in possession. Clips the ball into the air, looking for Adebayo, but Dieng swiftly off the line to claim for QPR. He's restarted really well, Dieng. You know, there's been times, even at the start, you know, we spoke about his mistakes that have led to goals, but so far his handling's been good. He's restarted, distributed well early and set QPR on the front foot. He's done well. He's kept 5 clean sheets in the 17 league games he's played so far, the Senegalese.
He's made a few errors though, a few really costly errors. The one at West Brom springs to mind last week. Blackpool, there's been a few.
Yeah, they've surrendered points all too easily lately, QPR, and Blackpool before the break being a prime example. Here's Campbell for Luton Town, driving through the centre circle out towards the inside left channel. Adebayo is out there with him, level with the area. Gets the ball onto his right foot, drives it into the box. Not sure whether he meant that as a direct shot at goal, but it went straight down the throat of Seny Dieng, who holds onto it comfortably. 1-0 QPR.
Yeah, it was straight at him, but every time Luton get the ball and you think, go on, just give it to him. Give it to Adebayo, because something happens. He's so sharp, he's got really good feet, he's lively, he's got good skill. You know, he looks like something's going to happen when he gets it, him and Cornick.
Pumped downfield by Dieng, looking for Austin, but Luton tidy things up at the back with Naismith. Oh, he almost lost his footing and allowed Austin to win it back, and in fact it's a QPR throw on this near side that Austin was desperate to take quickly, almost level with the Luton penalty area, but in the end he's left it for Adoma to take, the boyhood QPR fan. Came to the club last season. Delighted to be in this part of West London, having been a fan all his life. Scored some important goals. I think Dan and I were at Vicarage Road when he scored a winner against Watford when QPR were really picking up a head of steam in the second half of the season. They won 15 games between January and May after just 4 wins in the first half of the season. And the likes of Adoma and Austin were a big part of that revival for Mark Warburton's men. They've won a corner at the school end of QPR with just over 5 minutes to the break. QPR lead by a goal to nil. It's going to be a right-footed outswinger from this near side from Ilias Chair. Dickey making a run to the near post. It goes to around the penalty spot, headed down by Austin, and Sluga will claim the ball on the dead ball line. It was going wide anyway. Bottles the ball out early, looking for James Bree. Can he keep it in play on that far side? Well, the cheers from the locals will tell you he couldn't. So into QPR, they lead 1-0.
Yeah, he just almost had to control that before it bounced. But unlike QPR, they don't keep anyone up. Luton, they bring all 11 back. So if you go back to the goal for QPR, that came about from winning the ball from a corner, and then obviously they got Willock as that out ball straight in behind, and that's where they got their goal. Luton don't do that, bring all 11 back.
Well, QPR in possession, and again happy to play their way through the thirds. Dickey rolls the ball up to Johansson, who's in the best space on halfway and can dart into the Luton half. Adoma directly ahead of him, but he squares the ball in field as Johansson to Chair. Chair just ahead of the centre circle, rolls it left for Willock, the goal scorer. Chair takes over again. Wallace calling for it on the far left-hand side of the field and has it now. Rolls it back first time to Andre Dazelle. And then it goes back again via Willock to Dazelle. Lovely spin from Chris Willock. Dazelle made a run ahead of him, and Chair's there again on the left-hand side of the pitch. Faked across, and then just rolled his foot on the ball to dummy it away from Harry Cornick. Fans on the far side love that. Dazelle again squares the ball out left to Barbe. Keeping possession here, Queen's Park Rangers. Just playing 1 and 2 touch football.
It is only 1-0 though, so I know the little tricks and the flicks and spending that extra little split second on the ball, but Nathan Jones will be saying you make sure you get after them and you force that error, because it's 1-0. It's not they're not 2 or 3-0 up here, a few minutes to go.
Well, we saw what happened with Nottingham Forest last time here on a Friday night, when QPR were only 1-0 up going into the last knockings.
And there is that balance between sort of confidence and arrogance at times, and I'm sure Mark Warburton was saying to the same, just be ruthless with the ball.
Free kick to Queen's Park Rangers, and it's rolled infield to Stefan Johansson. He plays a 1-2 with Dazelle. Rudicam Panzu looking to close him down, but now it goes out to the left hand side and Barbe. Jimmy Dunn, who picks the ball up infield, wearing number 20, joined in July from Burnley. Jimmy Dunn only made 7 appearances for the Clarets. A lot of loans away from Burnley. Oh, good skill and control from Johansson to float the ball out to the left-hand side, where Barbe is charging forward. Drills the ball into the Luton box, just away from Charlie Austin. There are enough Luton shirts back, and another neat turn from Henry Lansbury, and he threads the ball up to Adebayo, who's scrapping for possession with Dickey. Dickey fouls him right on halfway. Free kick to Luton Town. 1-0 QPR.
I didn't see too much in that. I think Rob done right there trying to win the first one up. I think as soon as Adebayo brings that in, it's hard to get it off him, so he just tried to tackle him early, and he did, but the referee saw it as a foul.
That's David Connolly you can hear alongside me. Ian Danta, David, former EFL striker and Republic of Ireland striker, on this Friday evening at TalkSport 2 at the Kiyan Prince Foundation Stadium, where we're into the last 2 minutes of this first period. QPR lead by 1-0, and they're in possession down the far left-hand side of the field from us with Johan Barbe. Ball's hit long and straight, way over the head of Ilias Chair. Comfortable for Luton to tidy up at the back. Time enough for either side to get themselves a further goal before the break. The ball's up on halfway with Henry Lansbury, one of the 3 changes made by Nathan Jones tonight, coming back into the side. Naismith can't get to halfway, blocked by a wall of blue and white hooped shirts, so he turns and goes back to his fellow defender Sonny Bradley. Now Alan Campbell, just shy of the halfway line on the far side of the field. It's found Pelly Rudicam Panzu by the centre circle. Lansbury again, this time just to the left of the centre circle. Wanted to float the ball downfield, but again saw his route blocked. But Luton passing the ball around quite neatly. Naismith now turns inside Willock on halfway and skips infield. Gets to the midway point of the QPR half. Still Naismith goes, finds Cornick at the edge of the area. Turn and shot blocked. And then ball played back to Dieng. The ball was bouncing and bobbling, but he dealt with it well. Stenny Dieng to get it over halfway. 1-0 QPR.
I mean, Naismith a couple of times now, he's done really well as that outside centre half. Bradley's the one normally stays at home in the middle, but Naismith has that outside left one. He's been willing to carry that ball and break a line, drive into the QPR midfield and try and pick a pass. He's done really well so far. You just think the likes of Cornick didn't really know what was around him there. He had a bail behind him. He could have done a little turn, a little flick towards him, but tried to get a shot of it. Wasn't really on.
Into 1 minute of minimum stoppage time at the end of this first half on TalkSport 2, with QPR leading by 1-0 and in possession with Chair on halfway. Nods it down to Willock. Can Chair keep it in play on this near side? He can't. Scamper towards it fast enough, but the ball has just trickled over the touchline for a Luton Town throw.
They've been a little bit wasteful, haven't they, Rangers, the last 5 or so minutes, giving the ball away when really Mark Warburton want them just to retain it a bit better.
But equally, Luton haven't had as many half chances. They've not been as dangerous in their final third in the last 5 or 10 either.
No.
Ball's back at the edge of the Luton penalty area. Sluga been closed down by Chair, passes the ball out into the left back position where Naismith is waiting. He's being watched by Willock. Sluga again. It's a lofted pass diagonally out to the right hand side onto the chest of Lockyer. Just turns the ball around Charlie Austin. And the half is brought to a close by our referee, and QPR once again are going in ahead of the break at the Kiyan Prince Foundation Stadium. But after 10 minutes of really relentless pressure from Luton Town, that was how QPR hit the front. When a Luton corner routine didn't work, Ilias Chair picked up the ball, spotted Chris Willett making a run over halfway, hit a pass fully 50-60 yards. Willett running across the line, picked up the ball, spotted Simon Sluga and lofted it over the Luton keeper as he advanced out of his box. And that was QPR's lead on 10 minutes. And Luton had plenty of chances. Cornick and Adebayo trying to be a nuisance up front, but it hasn't quite worked for them so far. And so Mark Warburton's side will be happy enough with a scoreline at half-time here in West London of Queen's Park Rangers 1, Luton Town 0. Don't see any changes. Luton haven't beaten Queen's Park Rangers in 6 league games. Their last win here came by the odd goal in 5 back in October 1984. Again, the David Pleat era, when Luton were really starting to make a name for themselves in English football. It's right about that time they stayed up on the last day of the season by beating Manchester City at Main Road, Rowdy Antiche and all that. And it's amazing to think that Luton are competitive in the Championship when it wasn't that long ago that they had that massive points deduction handed down to them by the Football League, and they ended up back in non-league. But here they are, mixing it in the top half of the Championship, and a chance to go 6th tonight, but they've got to come from behind here to do that. I'll run you through the lineups in a moment. QPR in their blue and white hoops, white shorts and socks. They're attacking the loft end that they love to do in the second half of matches. Luton in their tangerine shirts and socks and black shorts. They're attacking the school end to our right, where the travelling support is in both tiers of that stand away to our right. Luton have a throw. For QPR, Dieng, their goalkeeper, Dickie, Dunn and Barbe, the 3 centre-halves, Adoma, Johansson, Dazelle and Wallace in midfield, Chair, Willock and Austin up front. For Luton Town, Sluga their keeper, Lockyer, Naismith, Bradley the 3 centre-halves, Bree, Campbell, Lansbury, Ruddock and Pansu and Onyedinma in midfield, Adebayo and Cornick up front. And early in this second half, Adebayo collects the throw, right-hand corner of the box, tries to turn away from Jimmy Dunn, but Dunn sticks to his task well and rolls the ball up to Charlie Austin, just shy of the halfway line, spots the run of Adoma, but Onyedinma's gone with him. Out comes Sluga, the keeper, and puts it out of play for a QPR throw on the far side. 1-0 to QPR. Yeah, Adebayo's
just got to keep hold of that ball on the edge of the box. He just turned into Jimmy Dunn, and he has to retain that. And then Charlie Austin, nice little touch and hold-up play, but then that through ball just over here, and I think he just needs a bit more. He needs more game time, Charlie, doesn't he? You know, to sharpen up.
As I mentioned, just that 1 league goal all season back in August against Barnsley for Charlie Austin. Luton have won it back at the edge of their own penalty area. Onyedinma, and it's worked back into the penalty box where it's clipped downfield by Bradley. Adebayo is beaten to the ball by Barbe, who nods it down, trickles over the halfway line. Willock, whose goal separates the side, just wriggles away from the attentions of Alan Campbell, and then plays a short pass to Stefan Johansson. QPR then with this wretched Friday night record, trying to redress the balance somewhat. Remember, only 2 of 24 Friday night games here at the Kiyan Prince have gone their way down the years, and 8 managers have felt the pain of dropping points just before the weekend gets underway, with fixtures in all competitions, league and cup.
And also you got to remember, in recent history, you look at the Forest game that was here, as you mentioned, Peterborough game, you know, conceding late goals. So I think Luke will know that a little bit susceptible Rangers, and that's why they'd want a second goal, certainly, if they can.
It's a free kick to Queen's Park Rangers. We've played 3 minutes of the second half here on your home of the EFL. And plenty more live football tomorrow on TalkSport from the Premier League. Oh, ball given away by Charlie Austin. Ball's rolled up to Adebayo on halfway. Tried to release Cornick in behind. It was half cleared, but now Bree's been released down the right-hand side for Luton into the area. Good block from Barbe. Goes behind it. Is a corner kick? Is it to Luton Town? It is at the school end.
Well, I think it's Wallace eventually. It looks like Barbe, but I think it was Wallace who showed a real turn of pace there. I mean, he's a bit quicker than I thought to get back and block that cross. Maybe Bree could have delivered slightly earlier, took an extra touch. It just allowed Wallace to get back. Nonetheless, really good block.
Corner kick to Luton Town at the school end, where it meets the main stand. James Bree to strike it, right-footed, drills it to around the penalty spot. Heads go up, it's cleared off the line by Adoma. Straight back to Bree on this near side. He'll measure the ball back into the box again. Headed just into the side netting. Luton fans thought it was a goal as Naismith got up at the near post, but it brushed the side netting on its way behind, and it stays 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers.
Oh, he's past the near post here, Naismith, and he just hasn't really swiveled his neck enough to get it back on target, and it's brushed the side netting. I mean, he should score. He's about 5 yards out, and he's just got to guide this, angle this just a little bit more acutely. What a chance that is. A really brilliant ball in from Bree, and he just hasn't quite craned his neck and twisted that head so it goes back towards goal enough.
Just over 15,000 in attendance tonight, 15,062, with almost 2,500 of those having come down the M1 from Luton. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers on TalkSport 2. 5 gone in the second half. Adoma wriggles free from a challenge on the far side and gets the ball in field to Johansson. His ball up to the edge of the Luton boxes, headed clear but picked up by the industrious Lee Wallace, who's been out since August, remember, with a hamstring strain. Be interesting to see whether he completes the full 90 this evening on his return to the QPR starting lineup. Here's Jimmy Dunn in the centre circle, plays the ball backwards the square to Barbe. Dazelle looking to run down the left-hand side, but he's being tracked by Cornick. So in the end it goes back to the halfway line, and Barbe, Johansson plays the ball along the deck for Chair. Trying to release Wallace in behind, but James Bree got an important toe end in to divert it back to his keeper Sluga. 1-0 QPR.
Yeah, well, just Wallace, just looking at him, he's got up and down really well, but he looks a bit leggy, and as you mentioned, he's been out for a while. I wonder how long he'll last.
Well, there's not an obvious replacement on the bench in some respects, because Odebejo, who'd normally cover in that area in Wallace's absence, is not around. Kakai could do it. He's played on the left-hand side before, but that's for later on, I assume. Bree for Luton Town lays the ball off to Peli Rodakampanzu. Anya Dimmer in space down the Luton left, attacking the QPR penalty area. Gets into the left-hand corner. Now tries to work it onto his right for a shot that was always going over the bar. Got underneath it somewhat, and Senny Dieng knew it wasn't going to trouble the back of his net. Goal kick to QPR. They still lead 1-0.
Yeah, he just didn't really have anything on the outside of him when he didn't, because he is the wing back, so if there's nothing on the out, if it's just him, there's nobody there. Drifted infield, always looking to get onto his right foot, but got under the ball and didn't really wrap his foot enough around it anyway.
Ball's on halfway, headed up and out by Tom Lockyer for Luton Town. So it's a QPR throw right down beneath us on halfway. We sit at the back of the main stand, opposite the stand where the cameras point out from, so we have the opposite view to the one that you would normally have if you were watching a match on television. Adebayo in possession for Luton on the halfway line, gives it back to Lockyer. Welshman turns away from Chair, plays the ball infield to Naismith. Oh, lovely turn from Naismith to completely deceive Johansson, and tries to clip the ball down the right hand side, but overclubbed it, trying to get Adebayo in behind, but the pass was too firmly hit by Cal Naismith.
But that is so unlucky. I mean, it's really good play. Lockyer is the right side centre half under pressure. He's got his left side centre half, who inverts Guardiola-like, as Cancelo does. Comes into the middle of the pitch, gets it, spins away from trouble, and he's really unlucky with the pass. But that's terrific play. You know, coachability, that's work. You know, Nathan on the training ground and Naismith bringing it onto the pitch. Really good.
QPR 1, Luton Town 0 on TalkSport 2. QPR in possession down the right-hand side, and they've won a free kick. Sonny Bradley fouling Willock. And a yellow card for Sonny Bradley, either for the challenge or maybe for something he said to the assistant after the free kick was awarded. But it's a yellow card all the same to the Luton Town number 5. And QPR now have a free kick, David Connolly, 10 yards from the dead ball line, down the right-hand side of the box at the loft end.
I didn't see that much. Did you see anything? I didn't see too much in that.
It must have been for the reaction.
Yeah, maybe a bit of back chat.
Well, there's two QPR players standing over the free kick. Stefan Johansson and Ilias Chair. So right-footed or left-footed delivery. Chair with a right-footed delivery would keep it away from the goalkeeper. Johansson could swirl it in towards Simon Sluga. Not many players in the 6-yard box. 3 or 4 QPR players just behind the penalty spot for this free kick that's about to be sent in. A 2-man Luton wall at the edge of the box. Will it be Johansson or Chair to float it into the area for Queen's Park Rangers? With 9 minutes gone in the second half. Johansson it is. Left-footed delivery into the near post. Headed clear well by Pelly Rudder-Campanzu. Comes out to Dazelle, who strokes it out to the left-hand corner of the box. And Chris Willock. Willock checks onto his left foot, floats it to the far post. Headed down. Austin! 2-0! Charlie Austin back amongst the goals. Jimmy Dunn takes the credit for unselfishly heading the ball back across goal, and Charlie Austin did the rest to delight the loft end. It's QPR 2, Luton Town 0.
It's really well finished from Charlie. Heads it back where it came from. It's the first cross in for Willock. It's absolutely wonderful. He dug it out with his left peg, dinked it to the back post. I think he's done it is it keeps it alive, heads it back where it came from, and there's Charlie Austin, Fox in the box. Just a little guided header from a few yards out.
The ball in from Willock, just teased to the far post, and Dunn did so well to help it back, knowing where Charlie Austin was. Just guided it down, and Austin didn't have to jump, kept both his feet planted on the floor, twisted his neck muscles, and headed QPR into a 2-goal lead. His first goal in the league since August. Absolute delight for Charlie Austin. Back on his old stomping ground and loving it. You heard him chatting before the game with us here on TalkSport 2. Still bags of confidence, even without the league goals to match that confidence so far. But that should, in theory, David Connolly, do him the power of good.
Absolutely, and we saw what that, the goals of late for Willock have done, and he's been superb here, Willock. Once he got that early goal, and you think, that will help Charlie's all-round game. When you're a goal scorer, centre forward, you need goals. It just helps your all-round game. Today hasn't been one of his best games with the ball, but he's got his goal now in the right place at the right time, finished it well. And that's that second goal that is really important for them.
And now Luton Town have work to do on TalkSport 2. They are 2 goals down. Nathan Jones will be deep in thought as to how to react to keep Luton competitive in this championship fixture.
Well, we'll come back to that set piece, won't it? Whether Sonny did Bradley a little back chat or not, we don't know, but that's where the first free kick came in for, and they kept it alive, QPR, and got their goal from it.
Free kick for QPR, just outside their own penalty area. Dieng fires it downfield. Adoma trying to keep it in play on the far side. Well, he managed to improvise a little flick with the back of his boot to keep it in play, but Luton have won it back. Lansbury, little Cruyff turn to keep the ball away from a defender and fires it downfield. It's well controlled by Adebayo. Onyedinma speeding ahead of him, but Adebayo has put his foot on the ball. Now he looks for Onyedinma. A 1-2 to try and get Adebayo away down the left-hand side. Out of play it goes off Adoma for a Luton Town throw. 2-0 QPR lead. They've got a cushion now, David Connolly, that they've not had in recent games.
No, that is right. They have struggled to get more than one for a long time. So that will just settle them down a little bit. And the likes of Adebayo just drifting a little bit wider, a little bit deeper, trying to get on the ball, which will suit Rangers.
Wallace finds Ilias Chair, just lofts it into the Luton half, but it's straight onto the head of Bradley. Bree keeps it in play on this near touchline. Campbell was caught by Dazelle with a flailing arm, and there's going to be a yellow card at least for Andre Dazelle for that challenge. It is just going to be a yellow. The card's already out of referee Donohue's pocket. I heard you go, ooh, there for that challenge. Well, you weren't happy with that, David Connolly?
You could see them, obviously both going up, but it just like Dazelle got up early and just used his arm a little bit. I've been on the end of a few of them. And he did catch. He certainly...
Yeah, it's Alan Campbell who was down.
He caught Campbell, yeah.
He's on his feet, though, Alan Campbell. He's not made a meal of it, but the booking will still come Andre Dazelle's way. And it will be a free kick to Luton Town.
He's not like his dad, is he?
No, he isn't.
No, because he's a sitting midfielder.
Yes.
You know, whereas his dad was a bit more of an attacking midfielder and got the goals and got into the box, but he certainly likes to operate from a little bit deeper and pick those passes.
Yet to score here, Andre Dazelle, since his move from Ipswich in June.
That Jason, obviously, I didn't say that.
Yeah. Who also played for Ipswich, of course, with some distinction down the years. Free kick then to Luton. They trail QPR here by 2-0 on TalkSport 2 as we approach the hour mark at the Kyan Prince Foundation Stadium. Lockyer with a free kick, diagonal up to the left-hand corner of the box. It's half-headed clear, but nodded down by Lansbury to Onyedinma. Diagonal ball into the box is headed away by Charlie Austin, back doing his defending, but Luton now attacking down the right. Lockyer, deep ball to the far post, but it'll drift beyond Adebayo, but kept in play by Onyedinma on the far left-hand side. Adoma sticking with him like glue. He has to roll it back to Pelly Campanzo. He'll hit a diagonal ball into the box. It's overhit, and it goes out of play without bouncing for a goal kick to Queen's Park Rangers. 2-0 QPR lead. Surely Nathan Jones must be thinking of changes from the bench as we approach the hour mark.
Well, I just wondered, they had a set piece, and I don't know why, but they kept Bradley back, they kept Lockyer back rather than putting those two in the box. Just Naismith went up, which is a surprise, but I know they're a big team anyway, Luton, but still I would have thought 2-0 down they would have put those two in the box.
In the end, it's a goal kick to Queen's Park Rangers. Fired downfield by Dieng over the head of Dickey. He was actually fouling his man on halfway. It was Onyedinma he was manhandling, so Luton have a free kick which they've taken quickly. Campbell under pressure from Dazelle manages to work the ball back to Sonny Bradley. Now Naismith will give it back to the Luton number 5 at the edge of his own penalty area, plays it square to Lockyer. There's a high press from QPR, so Lockyer tries to get beyond it by clipping the ball up to halfway. Barbe can't keep it in play, so Luton have a throw which they want to take quickly and release Adebayo down the right-hand side. Holds the ball up, turns inside his man. Luton fans wanted a foul from Barbe on Adebayo, but the Hatters have kept possession. Lansbury, 25 yards out, plays it into Onyedinma, lays it off to Campanzo, 30 yards out, gets it onto his right foot and skies it into the top tier of the school end. Goal kick QPR. The Ars lead by 2-0 on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, and that sums up Pelly Campanzo's evening so far. He's been really wasteful in possession, got right under that. I mean, he's been disappointing. Any sort of longer pass where you've looked for that bit of quality, that he hasn't really had it so far tonight. And it's a good area. It's only about 5 yards outside the box, and he's absolutely blazed that over the bar.
Goal kick for QPR. The two centre-halves were in the box. Dieng wanted to use one of them, but he hasn't. Instead, it's Dickey trying to roll the challenge of Cornick, but Cornick's won it back really well for Luton and then gives it away by passing it straight to Dazelle. Here come QPR on the counter-attack with Ilias Chair approaching the area. Shows too much of that to Lockyer, and Luton win it back. Can Bree keep it in play as he slides in at this near post? He can, but gives it straight back to Wallace. And then there's a foul given as Wallace goes in too strongly on Campbell, and Luton have a free kick in their right back position. So an hour gone, 62 gone to be precise, on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. QPR 2, Luton Town 0, but Luton with Onyedinma coming forward. Feels he was fouled by Rob Dickey. Dickey darts back to the corner flag in his own half to pick up possession. Adoma tight to the touchline, under real pressure from 2 or 3 Luton shirts around him, and then Onyedinma gives away a free kick, and QPR can clear their lines downfield. Yeah. Here's David Connolly.
I mean, he's put Adoma under pressure there as well. He's played a straight pass into him, and that is a trigger for Luton to go and press the ball and try and win it high up rather than just clearing their lines. But look, that's the way that Rangers like to play.
Don't forget, game day starts tomorrow on TalkSport at 11 a.m. with 3 Premier League commentaries back to back to back. Leicester-Chelsea first up at 12:30, followed by Aston Villa against Brighton at 3, and Liverpool against Arsenal at 5:30. Meantime, here on TalkSport 2, it's rugby all the way from 12:30 through till 10 p.m. as the Autumn Nation Series reaches its conclusion. Scotland, Japan, England, South Africa, Wales, Australia, and France, New Zealand. All 4 exclusive to national radio on TalkSport 2 and nowhere else. And don't get the Champions League is back next week as well. I'll be at Stamford Bridge on Tuesday night to see if Chelsea can seal qualification for certain as they take on Juve in their group. And also Villarreal against Manchester United at tea time on Tuesday. Manchester United's progress nowhere near as certain as Chelsea's appears to be. 2-0 to QPR here on TalkSport 2. We've played 64 minutes at the Cayenne Prince, and QPR look to be much more in control here than they were in the early stage of this game, when Luton went at them hammer and tongs but couldn't find the breakthrough, and now they find themselves 2 goals down, and Nathan Jones considering his options from the bench. But QPR meantime have a throw-in almost level with the Luton penalty area down the left-hand side. Wallace and Willock keeping possession. Willock was caught on the edge of his toe, I think accidentally, but he's still hobbling around inside the Luton half. Now he awkwardly moving back towards his position in central midfield, whilst Adebayo wins the ball back for Luton Town. Inside his own half, though, tries to spin away from Barbe and wins a throw for Luton Town, right in between the 2 technical areas.
It was clearly Luton's ball. Mark Warburton still appealed for it, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
As you would do.
Everybody does. Everybody appeals for everything. Now down the left-hand side, Naismith with a ball into the box, just kept away from Cornick by a flailing boot. I'm not sure whether it was Dickey or whether it was Jimmy Dunn that just got a slight deflection on that cross from Naismith that kept it away from Cornick, but it is a Luton corner away to our right. 2-0 QPR.
You just feel like they need something soon, don't they, Luton? You know, you can see confidence maybe ebbing away. That was a good ball in, though.
A terrific ball from Naismith. But it is a corner that James Bree will take for Luton, deep to the far post. There's a Bradley gone down at the far post. Half-hearted clearance for a penalty from the fans at the school end, but again, QPR in the counter-attack. It's 2-on-2 just for a moment. Willett tries to release Chair down the left-hand side. Now Luton are getting numbers back, but Chair running into the penalty area, left-hand side. Little reverse pass for Wallace, who hits it against Rudder Kampanzu, who's trying to prevent the corner, but can't do so at the loft end. QPR have another corner. They're 2-0 up here.
Well, it's another chance that's come from a defended a corner, and they've broken really well. Up to Willock this time, he holds it up. The ball over the top's not a bad one, the Chair. And in the end, Lee Wallace with a brilliant overlapping run. Got to the bar line and across, couldn't quite dig it out, but good play again from Rangers.
Chair standing over this corner kick. QPR players not massed in the 6-yard box this time. Dotted all around the 18-yard box as Chair raises both arms, floats it deep to the far post, headed out by Bradley as far as Albert Adoma, urged to shoot, actually gives the ball away to Cornick. Luton with a chance to counter themselves. Cornick trying to release either Campbell or Onyedinma down the left hand side, but the ball is intercepted by Johansson, who gives the ball back to his keeper Dieng, and anywhere will do for Seni Dieng, and it's out of play for a throw.
Well, if you contrast Luton, there's going to be a change there. Contrast quickly Luton and QPR. When QPR turn the ball over, that pass forward is a really good one with quality, and they keep it. It's to people's feet, and then they really go on attack. Whereas for Luton, they often give it away. They've been really careless, and they've lacked the sort of technical level of Rangers when they've had the ball. First change for Luton. Admiral Musway, former Leicester player, joined in July, hasn't scored for the club yet. The Zimbabwean centre forward is on to replace Harry Cornick for the first substitution of the night, with Luton 2-0 down. Yeah, I think he's been, by his standards, his high standards, Harry's been a bit disappointing tonight. Musquet, who's just 23 years of age, did play for some England youth sides, but now a Zimbabwean centre forward. He's pulling away to this near side, the right, as Luton come forward again with James Bree. Bree being shown down the line by Willett. He's won a throw, has Bree, gets it back to the halfway line. It's lofted infield by Lockyer to Rudder Kampanzu, who's being closed down by his opposite number 17, Dazelle. But Luton keep possession with Rudder Kampanzu, and he floats it out again to find James Bree on this near side, just shy of the halfway line. Into the feet of Musquet. Now Adebayo tries to turn and run in field. Got the benefit of a ricochet.
rolls it left. Coming forward is Lansbury. Lansbury goes down under a challenge from Adoma. Free kick to Luton Town, about 25 to 30 yards out. Adoma protests his innocence. Lansbury went down, but the referee was right on top of it and gave the Hatters the free kick.
He just had a heavy touch here, Lansbury, and he just got there ahead of Adoma. Look, his tackling is not his strength. We saw that in the first half with Onyedinma, and we've seen it here. Obviously, he's in the team maybe to go the other way, and that was a clear foul. It's about, I guess, 6-7 yards maybe outside the box. Right footer, you'd imagine, from that side.
Well, Bree is there.
Yeah.
Lansbury's also standing over it. Bradley's been having a bit of a conversation, but James Bree has deliberately placed his foot directly behind the ball before he steps back. He's looking to sort out his steps to the ball. Meanwhile, there's a QPR wall being made to stand behind the old vanishing spray just inside the 18-yard box.
Well, let's see if they can work the keeper. They just haven't worked the goalkeeper enough tonight, especially Dieng, who's made a couple of mistakes. You know, make a save. They haven't done that so far. Too many shots over the bar.
Just over 20 minutes to go, and Luton have a free kick, but 2-0 down here against QPR, looking to consolidate their place in the playoff pack. Bree waits for the referee's whistle, who's still looking at some pushing and shoving around the edge of the penalty area. Looking at Bradley specifically, I think. Now he blows his whistle. James Bree, 3-step run up into the wall with the free kick. Comes out to Lansbury, who lashes it over the bar. Tried to keep it down, but couldn't do so. And there's cheers all around the Cayenne Prince from those wearing the blue and white hoops and the blue and white scarves, because that's another poor effort from Henry Lansbury. 2-0 QPR.
Yeah, wasteful. Ricochet off the wall, and the ball's going across the box sideways, comes onto it and just lashes it. I mean, if I was his teammates, I'd be screaming at him. There was about 8 of them up in the box there. Just keep it alive, knock it back in, work it closer to goal. They just haven't been good enough in that regard. Certainly not in the second half, Luton.
Throw to QPR meantime on the far side of the field from us, in front of the Ellerslie Road stand, just shy of the halfway line. Adoma to take it, and he hurls it down that right-hand touchline, looking for Austin, who got QPR's second goal. Only half cleared by Luton. Chair trying to ride a couple of challenges. In steps Bradley just to keep the ball away from Austin. But lovely ball from Barbe out to this near side of the left, and Lee Wallace, who's got support from Chair on this near side. Wallace plays the ball infield to the centre of the Luton half for Johansson. Again, QPR just keeping the ball away from Luton players. Fired downfield by Dickey, straight onto the chest of Pelly Rodikampanzu, and now Luton can try and counter with Alan Campbell. Musquet just on as a substitute, barrelling down this right-hand side, gets in between two players into the area, but then he's dispossessed by Barbe, who he got past first of all. Back goes Willett, running towards his own penalty area, keeps it really well, and a lovely drop of the shoulder to feed Johansson. Johansson with the ball over the top. Oh, Chair tried to guide it down for Austin, but just couldn't find his man, and Luton win it back. Here comes James Bree over the halfway line. Campbell rolls it into the feet of Adebayo, up against Dickey. Out on the left-hand side, a chance for a cross into the box, maybe from Luton Town. They've won a free kick, as Naismith was brought down by Dickey. It's at the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Let's see what Luton Town can do with this set piece, David Connolly.
Well, that was a shame for Musgrave, because he did really well to get wriggle free and break into the box. Then he just needs to get his head up and pick someone out in the box. Took a little bit too long, just allowed Barbe to get back, and they didn't quite make the most of that. But he's had a good impact, though. He's looked bright, hasn't he, Musgrave, when he's been on the ball. But
it is a free kick that, again, James Bree is going to be standing over. It's at the left-hand corner of the QPR box, at the school end away to our right. QPR trying to hold their line level with the penalty spot for this free kick. Bradley standing in an offside position just in front of the 6-yard line. The referee again just checking to make sure there's no shirt pulling going on inside the box before Bree delivers this free kick in. Raises his right arm, drills it into the near post, and it's claimed by Dieng, and Bradley nearly got in ahead of him to head it into an empty net, but Dieng holds on to it comfortably enough. 2-0 QPR.
Yeah, a little bit too close to the keeper. You know, nice clean hands though, but a little bit too close and too high, fractionally lower. I think Luton might have had a chance of getting on the end of it.
17 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. QPR 2 goals to the good, and Musquay has just given away a foul. He's clattered into Lee Wallace, and he's just going to get a warning from the referee here as the Luton substitute. No yellow card yet, but I think his next foul will see him go into referee Donohue's notebook. Meantime, free kick was taken quickly, but Cher was dispossessed by Rodican Panzu, and Luton have it back with their back 3. Lockyer, he finds Sonny Bradley. Naismith really playing as a left back now, as much as anything else. And there's Onyedinma playing as a kind of part of a front 3 now with Musquay and Adebayo. Lansbury sees Naismith on the left hand side, but elects not to go for him. Instead he finds Onyedinma, who's caught by Charlie Austin, and this is going to be a yellow card for Charlie Austin for the challenge on Onyedinma, and Luton have another free kick in and around the QPR penalty area. 2-0 QPR.
Yeah, just a striker's challenge, this one. I mean, I don't think Charlie really knew what was around him. Yellow seems a bit harsh for that.
He accepts it though, sort of holds his hand up almost apologetically. It was a little bit of a movement onto the back of the heel of Onyedinma.
Okay, the second reflection, a bit of a he might have caught him there. I'll give you that one.
The centre forward union, David Connolly, suddenly realises when he sees the replay, well, it was a striker's challenge. You were dead right.
Well, going back to this, if Bree can keep this away, because it's an outswinger now from this side, keep it away from Dieng, because he showed good hands so far, Dieng.
They're all lined up at the edge of the 18-yard box for this free kick from the midway point of the half. Bree swings it in, good delivery, only half cleared, comes out to the edge of the area, won't sit down for Naismith, then drops for Lansbury inside the box. Now it's Sonny Bradley, finds Adebayo, he can't get the shot away, it's blocked at source by Austin, but only half cleared, clipped back into the box. Onyedinma gives chase, he'll keep it in play, will he? No, he won't. It's a goal kick to QPR. Luton had 1 or 2 chances, but the ball that seemed to land so invitingly for Carl Naismith just wouldn't sit down for him.
Well, it would. He just got to pull the trigger. He tried to be a bit too clever, take a touch and then do a little Cruyff turn. It was never on, just let fly. The ball drops in the box, and there's so many players around. I think he's just got to pull the trigger. In the end, they just got in each other's way, and they've been really disappointing in and around the box, Luton. They've lacked that craft and guile and that little bit of quality, that extra bit of quality. I mean, if Nathan's talking about, top 10s, etc., and they've got to do better there.
A chance for Luton again as Adebayo plays the ball into the box, left-hand side. Onyedinma gets to the dead ball line. He's offside as he picks the ball up. Belated flag from the assistant on this near touchline, and QPR have taken it quickly, and away goes Albert Adoma down the right-hand side. 3 calling for a cross. In it comes from Adoma, cleared at the near post by Sonny Bradley. Into the last quarter of an hour, Naismith gives it away inside his own box, but he's rescued by a teammate, and here come Luton again, desperate to get a foothold in this game. Bree in the inside right channel, plays it out to the wing for Musquay. Musquay gets to the edge of the area. Bree, first time cross into the box, headed up into the air by Dickey, headed further clear by Johansson. Where does it drop? Drops for Adoma, just hoofs it. A proper Gary Owen. We got all the rugby tomorrow on TalkSport 2. That was a proper Gary Owen from Albert Adoma, like he was at Twickenham, just down the road from here. Meantime, Luton have won it back, but they're running out of time here, David Connolly. 13 minutes to get themselves sorted here. And listeners from TalkSport join us with the scoreline of QPR 2, Luton Town 0. As we have, 13 minutes to play at the Kyan Prince Foundation Stadium. Charlie Austin of TalkSport fame giving QPR the second goal. Luton trying to find a second wind and get themselves back into this game, and they've won a throw-in on the far side, and there is going to be a change meantime, but it's not just for Luton, it is also for QPR. And the first change sees Charlie Austin, who I've just mentioned, the man that scored the second goal. He's coming off and waves to all sides of the Kyan Prince, including the away end. That's gone down well with the Luton locals. And Sam Field, the former West Bromwich Albion youngster, is coming on to replace him. Meantime, for Luton, they're bringing on Cameron Jerome for Alan Campbell. They're bringing on another striker, David Connolly, for a midfielder to try and get themselves back into this tie.
Yeah, they got it all to do, because that second goal that Charlie Austin got, I mean, they haven't really had them of late, Rangers, and that little 2-goal cushion, it was a nice planted header, wasn't it, from Austin? He probably didn't have his greatest game in terms of, you know, outside the box and getting hold of stuff, but he was in the right place at the right time, and that second goal, the confidence just seems to have ebbed away from Luton a little bit. They've been really disappointing in and around the box. For QPR, the likes of Willock, Chair, you know, have been really good.
Flash shot from Fred Onyedinma at the edge of the area as you're trying to swivel onto a throw-in sent in field by Luton. Gets it all wrong and over the bar. You're listening to TalkSport and TalkSport 2 at the Cayenne Prince. QPR 2, Luton Town 0. QPR started the night in 6th place in the table. They will go up to 5th and leapfrog Stoke with the 3 points they get here up to 29. Stoke will remain on 28 till they play tomorrow. Another change coming up. Osman Kaikai is coming on, and I presume, no, it's not Lee Wallace that's coming off. It's actually Albert Adoma who's being taken off by Mark Warburton. But he gets the applause from all-rounders as well. Loves this club, of course, Albert Adoma, and they love him.
They do, yeah.
And Osman Kaikai is coming on to replace him. Like-for-like switch, really. He's a right wing-back, come right midfielder. Came through the QPR Academy. Got his first goal as well for the club last May against Stoke City, the club I've just mentioned. So we've got just over 10 minutes to go here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 at the Cayenne Prince. QPR 2, Stoke 0. Game day tomorrow. 3 Premier League games back-to-back-to-back on TalkSport, starting with Leicester-Chelsea. But what of the remaining 10 or so minutes here? Because Luton got the ball into the QPR box, but then Musquet, who's just on as a substitute for the Hatters, has fouled his man inside the box, and QPR have been awarded a free kick for the challenge on Barbe.
He did not need to do that. Ball bouncing over the top. Barbe's trying to get on the end of it. Musquet's there as well. And I mean, don't foul. Whatever you do, don't make the referee give a foul against you. Keep the ball alive. Barbe could not clear it there anyway. The furthest he could head it was probably 5 yards away, so you could still try and pick up the second ball, and he's done that twice now, Musquet. He can't keep giving those fouls away, especially in and around that Rangers box.
That's the thoughts of former Republic of Ireland striker and EFL regular David Connolly, who's alongside me, Ian Dancer on commentary. Into the last 10 minutes we go in West London. QPR heading for 3 points after this wretched run of Friday night fixtures that's seen them win just 2 of 24 games played on a Friday night here at this stadium. They don't have too much longer to negotiate, and Luton have really gone for it, haven't they, David, with these substitutions?
Yeah.
Jerome on, Musquet on, they've kept Adebayo and Onyedinma on as well, so it's a 4-pronged attack really now for the Hatters.
Absolutely.
Adebayo is being fouled and wins Luton Town a free kick just shy of the halfway line. All the rugby exclusive to TalkSport 2 tomorrow, remember, from 12:30. Scotland, Japan, England, South Africa, Wales, Australia, France against the All Blacks, right through to 10 p.m. Here come Luton down the right-hand side with Bree. Ball into the near post is cleared away straight back to James Bree. Plays it into the edge of the area. Here's Pelly Rudder-Campanzu driving for the dead ball line. His cross is blocked. Comes out to Bree again down by the corner flag. He wins a throw off Lee Wallace. And Luton Town will try and hurl the ball into the box, but the long throw specialist Cornick has been substituted. So Pelly Rudder-Campanzu trying to drive past Wallace and get to the byline. Can't do so. The ball's not gone out of play. It's been kept in play by Luton. Musquet with a wild drive the wrong side of the post. Really flashed it goalwards, Admiral Musquet. But he got his wires and his lines all wrong. And it's a QPR goal kick at 2-0. To the Super Hoops.
Yeah, and again, it's another effort off target, just trying to see how many strikes, how many shots they've had on goal, and can't think of too many that have actually hit the goal, hit the target.
Well, you were saying earlier, Semi Diaz has not had much to do in terms of efforts on goal.
14-3 on target, I've just been told by my little analyst beside me. Mr. Dan, Mr. Windle.
Well, it gives him something to do. Goal kick. 7 minutes to go. QPR 2-0 up. Luton just starting to struggle for form a little bit. They'd lost 2 out of their previous 3 against Preston and Stoke. In amongst that, they did get a big 3-1 win against Middlesbrough. But their upcoming fixtures: away at Nottingham Forest, home to Cardiff, away at Blackpool, and then home to Fulham, and away at Reading just before Christmas. QPR coming forward with Chris Willock, the man that got them their first goal on 10 minutes. Ilias Chair feeds it back out to the right-hand side. Little passes, 1 and 2 touch being popped around by the QPR players. Chair looks down the right-hand side of the box. Kakai tries to pull it back for a teammate. He's gone out for a goal kick in the end. It came off him last of all. And Simon Sluga, the Luton keeper, desperate to start play, restart it as quickly as possible. We're now down to the last 6 minutes of normal time on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium. QPR 2, Luton Town 0. Here's Admiral Muskway making another strong run down the right-hand side, cutting inside QPR players, but then running into Barbe, who just unceremoniously whacks it into this South Africa road stand for a Luton throw.
Well, that's what he should have done a moment ago. Tried to let the ball run out of play, didn't he, when Musgrave got it and missed the target again, but that time took no chances. Right thing.
Now here's Henry Lansbury back to the halfway line. Luton have got to find something, and very, very quickly. Ball's back with their goalkeeper, Sluga. He fires a long ball downfield. Chance for a header for Cameron Jerome, but he's beaten to it by Jimmy Dunn, who won that in the air well. Kakai for QPR, just on as a substitute, plays it to Sam Field. Now Jimmy Dunn looks for Johansson, gets his head up, looks to release Willock over the top through the middle, but Bradley calmly deals with that at the back for Luton Town. Willock is now the notional striker for QPR, with Austin having gone off, having scored the second goal. Muskway finds James Bree, guides it back down for Admiral Muskway, but he's deep inside his own half here, rolls it back to his keeper, but Sluga's clearance isn't the best and just bounces out of play. Jerome can't reach it, and QPR have a throw, and they're closing in on 3 points here, David Connolly, the Londoners.
Yeah, obviously they've got a good record here as well. Obviously at home, maybe not on the Friday night, but nonetheless at home they got that second goal, which is really important for them.
Yeah, they've only lost once in the league here all season.
They've done the double over Luton last season, didn't they? So they got their number.
It's a long time since Luton won here in the league, back in 1984 to be precise. There's not been too many meetings since then, but nevertheless it's not been a happy hunting ground. Here's Lee Wallace down the left-hand side for QPR as they attack the loft end. You're listening to TalkSport and TalkSport 2 at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium. 2-0 to Queen's Park Rangers, looking to go 5th in the Championship tonight with this 3-point haul. Chair, always busy, always scheming around the edge of the box, looks to drop his shoulder and get away from a Luton opponent. Stefan Johansson, who's been calm and authoritative in midfield once again for the hosts, rolls it back to Jimmy Dunn, who in turn goes all the way back to his keeper Dieng, and the Olays are starting around the Kai and Prince now for each completed QPR pass.
Well, you just have to make sure if they do go back to Dieng, they can't do that and bang the ball straight down the middle to the likes of Willock and Chair. That's where they've got to look out wider to the likes of Dickey. He'll try and win the flick on.
Luton Town in possession, but they're 2 goals down here. Desperate for something to give them hope heading into stoppage time. If they get one, based on what QPR have done in surrendering late goals, they'll get nervous. Well, any team does. People
might wonder why I said Dion will kick the ball to Dickey to flick on, but when Dieng's got the ball, Dickey goes as a right winger to basically try and win the ball, because QPR are quite small in the front part of the pitch.
Musgrave plays the ball in field for Luton. It's cleared away by QPR. Chair tries to chase onto his own flick over the halfway line, but Tom Lockyer gets there first for Luton. 3 minutes to go on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. QPR 2, Luton Town 0 in the Championship. And Onyeka Dimma is penalised for just pulling on the shirt of Rob Dickey as he tried to roll his defender and get away down the Luton left.
No point doing that. Too many fouls they've given away. I mean, you just kill your attack. He might not have got on the end of it anyway there, Onyeka Dimma, but just don't pull him back. Don't pull Dickey back and the ball stays alive.
Well, Ilias Chair is the player they really love here, the latest of the talented attacking midfielders. You think of Eberechi Eze, you think of Bright Osai Samuel, and now Ilias Chair, and he's been taken off for these last few minutes to be replaced by Luke Amos, who was initially loaned here from Tottenham a year or two back and is now a permanent signing. He's had 2 ACL injuries to deal with in the last few years. Luke Amos, he's had a rotten time of it with injuries, but he gets a few minutes here as QPR try and see this out at 2-0 up.
Yeah, tough for him. And I guess another show of their strength in the middle of the park. They've got a lot of midfielders coming back to fitness now as well, so they're blessed in that regard.
It's strikers where they're a little bit like no Lyndon Dykes tonight.
That's why you play the way they do.
Yeah.
You know.
Throw into QPR on the far side of the field.
I think Mark Warburton is I wouldn't say hoping, maybe hoping or expecting offers for Chair. I think
in the January window.
Yeah, because I think it would just enable them to. I know that obviously they'd want to keep someone like Chair to help him get up, but nonetheless, I think, you know, if there was an offer 20, I mean, he's talking 20-something million for him. If there was something like that, whether that would help QPR in other areas of the pitch.
But they've never been this well placed going into a January transfer window this high up the table.
Yeah, which might give them a decision to make if that offer did come. It's just the fact that Mark has mentioned those sorts of figures makes me think that if they got an offer like that, they would take it.
Lovely turn from Willett, midway point of the Luton half as we're in the last minute of normal time. Slides into the edge of the area. Amos, he could have taken it on himself, but he tried to lay it off. And Luton won the ball back, and now Onyedema, he's hauled back just shy of the halfway line by Dickey. Easy yellow card for the referee to dish out here to Rob Dickey. Luton have a free kick on halfway, 2-0 QPR.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone at half-time and they were saying the figures that might be, you know, clubs were quoted for Rob Dickey, and I think that is why clubs wouldn't pay that for Rob Dickey. So I think he's brilliant with the ball. I love him, but you get him in around the halfway line and he gets really tight. He wants to win the first one and he doesn't win it, and you turn him, you're away. He can't get back, and maybe that's why clubs aren't quite paying that sort of fee.
Luton's free kick up towards the edge of the area. We're still waiting to see how many minutes are going to be added on. We've played the 90 and we're into 4 additional minutes at the end here on TalkSport and TalkSport 2 at the Kiyan Prince Foundation Stadium. QPR almost there for a rare 3-point haul of a Friday evening. Here's Stefan Johansson wriggling away from Henry Lansbury, getting away down the right hand side. Luton have enough players back and they win it back. Here's James Bree getting to the midway point of his own half, playing it up to Admiral Musgrave. Plays the ball in field to Adebayo. It's laid off to James Bree. Luton coming forward with some purpose here. Out on the left hand side, Carl Naismith, faced up by Osman Kakai, tries to go on the outside of him, wraps his foot round the cross. It's missed by players into the far post. Adebayo sees the ball bounce off his knee, and then it's cleared away by Barbe when it looked for a moment that the goal was at his mercy.
They just about got away with that one. A better touch there at the back post. They might have scored. That would have made it interesting in the last few minutes. Instead,
Willock is played through the middle, but it's just got away from him and bobbles through to the keeper Sluga. So we played 91 and a half minutes on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. QPR 2, Luton Town 0 in the Championship. And Luton desperate for something, what would only surely be a consolation at this point, as the ball's clipped forward by Lansbury, looking for Cameron Jerome, whose shirt number matches his age, 35. His cross is actually gone behind before he hit the cross with his left foot, and it's a goal kick to Queen's Park Rangers, and it's been a frustrating night for Nathan Jones and Luton Town here on their trip down to West London.
He's unlucky though with this effort. Good ball in. It was almost dropping it was almost dropping into the arms of Dieng. QPR centre half just took it off Dieng's hands and flicked it towards the back post. A better touch there.
QPR, 7th successive season in the Football League Championship. You think of their points tally in the last 3 seasons, David. They've gone from 51 points to 58 to 68. There's been a real growth from season to season, and this is why, as they go 5th tonight with this result, it may well just change the board's thinking about how they approach offers for players in January, or indeed whether they augment what they already have. Very interesting window to come for QPR,
because obviously you've got that decision now. How often are you in this sort of position if you're QPR? Last few years hasn't been very often. Hasn't been at all.
Johansson for Rangers. We're deep in stoppage time now on TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Mark Warburton still directing operations down below us. He wants the clean sheet at the very least, as well as the 3 points. Throw in given to Luton, but time is against the Hatters. Back it goes to Sluga, who passes out to Tom Lockyer, the centre half. Bradley inside the D at the edge of his own penalty area. Plays it out to the left-hand side. Cal Naismith spins away from Dazelle. Now it's played by Lansbury out to this near side in James Bree. 3 Luton players to aim out for a cross. He gets to the right-hand corner of the box, finds Redican Panzu, who drives it wide of the post. There was a QPR player flying in at him to try and stop him getting the right contact, and it was Sam Field that put Pelly Redican Panzu off, and he fired horribly wide for Luton Town. QPR goal kick.
Well, they worked it so well to Pelly, almost in a perfect position right in the middle of the goal, 18, 17 yards out. His first touch just bobbles up, and you think, well, that sits quite nicely on the half volley, but he just skews it off the outside of his boot, and again, it just misses the target. I mean, their finishing has been awful, make no mistake, Loon, it really has. You know, strikes from distance, and it's been dreadful.
David Connolly alongside me, Ian Danter here at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium. The referee blows the full-time whistle, and QPR are up to 5th in the Sky Bet Championship. They are as well placed as they has ever been in recent years to making a concerted challenge for promotion to the top flight. And despite Luton having all the early running in this game, it was eventually QPR that took the lead on 10 minutes through Chris Willett, his 4th of the season. After a Luton corner was cleared downfield by Ilias Chair, Willett spotted Simon Sluga, the Luton keeper, coming off his line and expertly lobbed it over him and into the corner of the net. They had to wait till the second half to seal the points for sure. Charlie Austin with his first league goal for August for QPR, nodding home after a cross from the left from Willett was unselfishly headed back across goal by the QPR centre-half, Jimmy Dunn. Austin did the rest from 6 yards out to send the Ars fans home happy. The Friday night hoodoo doesn't look so bad now after just 2 wins in 24 on a Friday night. They've got it right tonight, at least, to go 5th in the Championship. Luton have now lost 3 of their last 4. Full time at the Kai and Prince Foundation Stadium. QPR 2, Luton Town 0.